it real issues, action, comedy with your lovely personality. Fun, freedom, personal, life matters. Keep this talk show, it's much better. Starring your lovely host, Kacey Thorps. Behind the Dream.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Generations through Beyond the Dream. I'm Kacey Love, your host, and today we're doing a topic called Bridging the Achievement Gap. And we will talk to you about the achievement gap right after this message.
And that wasn't
My boat.
I want you to learn.
really arrested you.
All the cooking.
Hey now, I'm Kacey, and you're tuned in to Beyond the Dream. I know you could be watching any old show right now, but you chose to watch Beyond the Dream. That's right, and I want to thank you for keeping it real with B.A.D. production. And I'll continue to do the same for you. Remember, if you can dream it, then you can make it happen. So always live beyond the dream. Free your mind. The rest will follow. Hey, laughter can help us do just that. Not to mention, it burns off calories. Oh yeah, it's a good thing. And nothing personal, people. But it's also a lot easier to laugh when you don't take everything so seriously. And of course, when something is seriously funny. But seriously though, learn to laugh, folks. Believe me, it's addictive. Hello, and we're back to another episode of Generations, and we are having little ants all over the place right now. I'm getting little darts and pins at me at my co-host Yvonne, but we're going to talk about that later. We want to introduce everyone. Of course, you know Lady OJ to my left here, and we have Yvonne, Big Mama we call her, and we also have Linda Love. This is my friend Linda Lou, actually. And we're here today, of course, Kacey Love. We're doing a show today called Bridging the Achievement Gap. What we mean by this is we need to come together and basically show our achievement in a whole or something like that. I would like to elaborate on this subject because you know what? I didn't choose this subject today.
Well, bridging the achievement gap means that there is a wide gap between African Americans and the white, Asian, and Hispanic population. But actually, when you talk about the achievement gap, you're talking about just how far has the younger generation achieved educationally as opposed to white versus minority students. Okay. And like it says here,
Bringing the books
again. It's been 50 years since the United States Supreme Court tried to eliminate inequities in public education. Now they're talking about Brown versus the Board of Education, 1954, when segregation was denounced all over the United States, and that's when we could go and attend any school that we wanted to.
Right.
And then in the 70s and 80s, the achievement gap between African Americans and white students was narrow. We were learning kind of at the same pace.
Right.
But now we've hit the 90s, okay? And it says the gap has begun to widen again. You know, and you know, what is the cause of this? What's going on?
A lot of it, I believe, is people. We have a lot more people now seeking education of different ethnicities, and a lot of the which is nothing wrong with that, but a lot of the people we used to be recognized. Of course, our blackness used to give us opportunities in this United States. We used to get opportunities because we were considered a minority and because we were considered, underachievers, so to speak. Now, all of these other races and ethnicities are in that pot, in that same pot, and they're getting a lot of the, as if you will, perks that we used to get for being black. So I think a lot of it might have to do with that.
Okay, well, let me propose something here to you. It says here, there's a test that has to be taken before students can now come out of high school called the Kacey.
Right.
It's the California High School Exit Exam. And all the kids, they're jitters until they find out that they have passed that test.
Wow.
Okay, now this is the percentage-wise.
When did that start?
This started maybe about a year or year and a half ago.
Okay.
Okay, the Kacey. It says, the California Department of Education reveals that 95% of white students and 97% of white students, 95% of Asian students pass the test, compared with 86% of poor students, 86 of Hispanics, and 84 for African Americans. And the ones that are below us are
So
the
poor
English
students,
language.
would that be poor Caucasian? Is that why they call them just poor students?
That's what I was assuming.
that supposed to
Yeah,
mean?
poor students, I guess coming from any minority. And I guess it could,
Or
because a lot of
majority.
people are not aware that we have poor whites in our society
Exactly.
as well.
That's why I said, what would poor students, what would that be? And I would think maybe they're saying the more, I think what they're trying to say is the more financially stable these people are, the better education they're getting.
That's exactly what they're saying. So in white neighborhoods, because there is not a generation of poverty, that
Hey, that
occurs.
makes sense.
Yeah, and that it says here, African Americans, Latinos, and poor students remain as below basic and far below basic levels at 3 times the rate of whites. Asian and affluent students are twice as likely as low-income students to reach proficiency. Okay?
Well,
We're
I
in
stand
trouble
on
as
what
a
I
race.
said. Yeah.
We're in trouble, people of Compton and the Los Angeles area, and people of color.
How about people
We-
of color all over the place?
Right.
You know?
But when I speak specifically to our race, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And I want to tie this in with what our next subject is going to be in terms of this generation has been taken over by rap artists.
Right.
You know.
Here we go back with the rap artists.
Yeah.
Okay. We're always seem to get back into that.
I tell you, I just can't help it, because by being an educator, I see it every day.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask them to repeat the words to a rap song, they'll run it off to you. But if you ask them to give you a critical thinking answer to an essay question pertaining
Right.
to history or English,
Right.
they can't do
Or
it.
recite the proclamation.
Right.
The Emancipation
Right.
Proclamation.
They
couldn't
want to
do it.
come to school with them iPods in their ear. They want to come to school with the CD devices. Okay. The phone. They're more interested in that than anything else. Let me say this, and I might have said this. I might have said this before. There was a white teacher up in Pasadena who wrote.
Do you have something to say,
Excuse
Yvonne?
us, Yvonne. Do you? No. Yeah. She's gotten choked.
She's getting all
Okay.
choked up. She's getting all choked
Right.
up. So,
This white teacher in Pasadena stated he actually wrote an article on his students who were black, okay? And what he said was that we are more interested in what goes on in our neighborhoods, dealing with our cosmetics in class, listening to CDs. We are all about that. It's not about focusing in on our education.
Right.
But when we look at it, we know that in our community, a lot more goes on that is very distractful.
right.
The poverty level. As a matter of fact, just to read here, it states here that, let me see here.
We're going to have to,
The reason certain groups of students underperform It's because it is the effect of poverty, home and community learning, unequal opportunities, discrimination, access to health care, and issues of housing and inequality. Now, I just want to stop for a moment, and I want us to reflect back on our education
Right.
and how it was. Okay? Linda, you were raised in the South, New Orleans. Okay. Was education emphasized in your home, your parents? What?
When I came up, not really, no.
Okay.
No, but I knew that being educated would provide better opportunities for me. It wasn't not emphasized because my family were sharecroppers. My dad
Okay.
grew up in the
Farming.
farming.
And I've got an interesting statistic
Right.
to talk about.
So, but I always knew my mom and dad, they did everything they could to always encourage me to go to school, but you didn't hear the conversation around the board,
Right.
the table, talking about
Right. It
everybody.
wasn't pushed
Right.
from childhood. You didn't know that you were going to be in Yale or in other colleges.
Right.
Yeah, Princeton or something like that. Yeah.
Talking about a cotton field.
Right now, did you grow up on a farm, Linda?
My family did, but I didn't, at the time when I came along, the farming had kind of
Yeah.
gone away because we
Yeah.
moved to the
There were
city.
only
You moved to the
certain
city.
Right, right.
Okay. Now, did you live in the Ninth Ward?
No, I didn't. I never lived in the 9th ward. I lived in the 13th ward and uptown. But I didn't live out in where they had a lot of people children that was dysfunctional. In my area, everybody mainly was encouraged to go to school.
Right. You had
Because
mentioned to us before that that education was something that basically was a choice. If you guys wanted to do it, you did it. And like you said, it was something that you knew would open opportunities for you. So
Right,
you
right.
did educate yourself.
What was the difference between the Ninth Ward and the 13th Ward where you grew up?
Well, the 9th ward is, I never gone to the 9th ward. I don't know. I really don't know what was down in the 9th ward.
Wow, okay.
So for those of us that don't know what the Ninth
That's
Ward is, why don't you
uptown.
explain the Ninth Ward?
That's where the
Because you
inner
keep speaking
city of New Orleans, where there's a concentration of, I guess, the poor black,
Okay.
people
Okay.
that live there. And all of them are probably poor, but underprivileged or live in poverty levels.
Okay.
I'm assuming that there are projects there,
Okay.
you know.
As far as you, Yvonne, you're okay now?
I don't know if I'm, yeah, you guys have to excuse me. I guess I do that.
A little cough.
I'm not claiming anything. It's just
That's
a
right.
cough. So
It's
you have
just
to
a
deal
cough.
with it. Now, in my school, well, I was born in Watts. Did I tell you more? Education wasn't so much pushed on us, but sports was.
Mm-hmm.
Run track, play baseball, play football. We had the best track team in Los Angeles between
Right.
Jeff and Jordan. We
Right.
had the best football team. I was a track runner myself. So I was more interested in running track. And even when our grades were low, if we ran track,
They passed
they
you by, they
passed me.
slipped you on
Now,
through,
one,
right.
I didn't like too much of anything. Like, I went to school on time every day because my mother used to be the president of the PTA.
Okay.
Now, at Jordan, our
Okay.
school started from the 7th grade to the 12th grade. We went straight from high school, junior high,
All
up
the
into
way through.
high school. So you were there forever. I had to be a good girl, and I was there every day. But as far as learning something, they cared less.
But your mother was head of the PTA.
No, she was just the president.
President.
Of, like there's
Right.
mothers, like we have house mothers and things
Right.
going
Right.
through now. Not house
But didn't
mothers.
she
Yeah,
think
PTA.
education was important by being the president of the PTA?
Well,
had
that's
to.
the kind of
She had to.
mom I had. So
She wanted
I
to be
did,
involved in your
educational process.
people,
but
period,
the
around
teachers
you.
themselves
Right.
really cared less, and almost all of our teachers except 2
Were white.
tell me about it.
And they didn't care if
That's
you learned
interesting.
anything or
They didn't
not.
Yeah. As long as they got that check.
I don't know if how I passed.
And the
I
books,
brought the flowers
yeah.
because my science class was the only thing I was failing in. And I used to bring, my mother used to have roses and stuff, and I brought my teacher flowers, and he passed me.
I know that's right.
It was
Books
all about
outdated.
if I like you. And what kind of sports. And then I was, like I said, a
It's
track
not too
star
much
runner.
different now. It's a teacher sometimes. I mean,
Whoa, whoa,
that's what I'm saying.
you
No
finna
offense
step on
to
some
you.
toes.
Baby, you
No
stepping on
offense
her
to you. You're a different kind of teacher. You care about your students.
But see, I think what we fail to understand is this, is that back years ago, when we had segregated communities, and I'm gonna say this, integration probably was the worst thing that hurt us as a race
Do you
of
think
people.
we should have stayed
We should have stayed segregated.
for education?
Absolutely.
Why is
And
that?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because you lived in the community. Your teachers were your neighbors. They went to church with you. Okay, you saw them at the store. They lived next door to you.
Opportunities.
Okay?
Opportunities.
And right there in that community, it was a village.
Do you
they
know we are
raised you.
still in the situation where we don't own nothing? And if we
And
had
they,
kept being
let me,
segregated,
thank you.
They tried
And
to
wait
do
a minute,
something we
we
didn't
had
do.
our own stores. Yes, we had
You're
our own
talking-
businesses.
We
Yes,
didn't
You
in
might
the
be
black
talking about
community.
certain- yeah, in
I'm
certain
talking
places
about
it's
in,
like that.
yeah.
But in a whole, we'd be staying at a certain level.
No,
for,
we
for
wouldn't.
the rest of our
now,
lives.
now let me go on, because see, my mother grew up. She grew up. My grandfather's, like Linda mentioned something very interesting. She said her family was from a sharecropping.
Yeah, so was mine.
Mine wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
My great grandparents owned property.
Mm.
Now, how they got it through hook or crook, there is, and I'm kind of studying this.
They own
There is a
property
difference.
too, but if you're a sharecropper, you own some property because you got to have land.
No. If you're a sharecropper, you worked
No,
on
you
people's
shared,
land.
you
Oh, well,
shared
mine,
your
I'm
crop.
sorry.
You had
They
land.
owned.
Right. They
Master let
family-
y'all bought some.
We own some
right.
land.
Master let you buy some. Master let you buy
Master
some.
let y'all have
Okay.
some.
I
And see,
get
this is where
No,
generational
you shared
poverty
your crop.
starts. To me, you know, if someone doesn't break that cycle, then it will be a continuous cycle.
how do you think
But see,
being
Linda's generation
integrated-
broke her cycle.
But integration
You know.
would not break that cycle. If we-
Integration.
I mean,
let me tell you,
segregation would not break that cycle. Integration is what-
segregation didn't have to break the cycle, because you have to remember, black colleges back then.
Yes, and we
Yeah,
still do.
Right.
And how?
so we had that opportunity
And
to
how
go
much?
to a
How
black
come every
institution.
year they're on a thin line of closing down the black colleges because the alumni do not have the money, finances. Some of them don't have to give them back
Right.
to the colleges.
But they
these
hold
big
they
white
hold
colleges.
the annual, it used to be the Lou Rawls Stars of Parade thing
We
to
have
raise
to beg
money.
to get money.
We do. And it's a shame when those are old historical institutions
Yes.
that a lot of my
Every year they on the brink
cousins
of
went
closing
to.
down.
Right. And see, my mother, it's so interesting. And the reason why I say,
That's why I don't believe that segregation would have been the answer. I think integration definitely.
no, I'm gonna tell you how
Definitely.
integration killed us, and anybody that can look at this knows, because when they started to bus us into them white suburban areas, they didn't want us in that neighborhood.
No, they don't. And
No,
still don't.
and you know what they did to us? That like it says here in this paper, they put us in the low achieving classes out in the suburban areas. They didn't think that you were capable of learning like the white kids when they put
So
you out
they
there in
still
suburban.
segregated you.
So you they still segregated you. Okay, prime example. I have a cousin who's the same age as I am. Now in my hometown there was a community called Woodstock, Shelby County Training School. Okay. Those were schools that trained you just like in trades, or if you wanted to go on to college.
They have
you
that out
you
here
had that-
called SCROC.
They had
Southern
that
California
opportunity.
Regional Occupational Center.
Okay. Yeah, I know about it.
Okay.
Regional occupational centers. Okay. But now, my cousin, who went to an all black segregated school, we're the same age, and I went to a integrated college, school. She and I grew up. She went to college in the South. Now, mind you, she was educated by all black professors,
Right, I
all
understand.
black teachers. Okay, and she made the grade and went on to the University of Memphis.
Okay.
Okay, in a segregated area.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
Okay,
I got plenty of friends that
most
went to
of my
Morehouse
family,
and
most of my
Spelman.
family, right, were in, and even my younger generation cousins. are at black schools. Some of them went to white. But for the majority, mostly all of my first cousins, you know, we all went to black colleges and they went to black schools from kindergarten on up.
And there's nothing wrong with supporting that. I have girlfriends that have graduated from Spelman and friends, Morehouse, all this Howard. But I'm just saying, I have asked them, and I really have asked them if they had a choice, again, to go to an all-black school. Well, now they're not all black anymore, by the way, but an all-black college versus a white college. 2 out of the 3 that I'm talking about said that they would have preferred to go to another school, but their parents made them go to a black college. Hey, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
But no, it's a very good thing, because you know the only thing that we needed to have been integrated in was I could walk into a restaurant whenever I pleased and I could sit.
Okay.
If I could walk into a theater and I could sit anywhere I wanted to.
Let
if
me
I
tell
could
you
walk up to a
something.
public facility and not say black and white and drink out of it.
Let me give
But
you
as
an
far as our
example.
community, we had an economical base back in the day.
Okay.
We had an economical base there. We had a caring environment.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, back in the day there. That's
All
all
I'm saying that the whole economic situation has changed today. Our situation has changed with the point of everybody wanting to be an entrepreneur, everybody wanting to have their own business, which is great. It gives everyone in a sense is trying to be capitalists, okay? It's almost the only way you can survive out here, because the jobs are not doing what they used to do, the benefits wise, they're not taking care of the employees, and the employees are not loyal to the company, and on and back and forth.
That's in the private sector.
That's in the private sector, but
Right.
that right now, the private sector is what's running things. And if we want to be a part of this, we have to be in that same game. Now, for instance, what I'm doing to try and bridge the achievement gap is in my community, I have started the BBC, which is the Black Business Committee. And what we do is we are part of the larger picture of the Chamber of Commerce in Santa Clarita. And what we do is we try to help become a resource for the black community. There's only a handful of us out there. So I have taken it upon myself as the president and as the founder, but I see the reasoning behind it is the big picture is the Chamber of Commerce out there runs everything. And if I had tried to do this on my own, singular and grassroots situation, the BBC would not be as popular, would not be as successful, because we wouldn't have the support of the people. By me joining and not segregating, but integrating with the chamber, it has given us more opportunity, more money, more exposure.
Why do you have to say black? Why couldn't you just be because you're a human being?
Because
that's my whole point.
To give the black community.
We have to always empower ourselves in the black community.
We do.
That's what I'm saying. And we were empowered back in the day. See, that's what I'm saying. We were empowered. We had our own black business. We had our own schools.
Okay.
You know, and that's what was so great about it.
So what happened?
You know,
we're just like the
so when we
Indians, they just took
integrated
it apart of it,
and they wanted to send us to these white schools, the white folks didn't want us there no way.
What does that have to do with our businesses? Where did the businesses go? If we were so empowered, what happened to our businesses? Why did we sell the businesses?
Okay, what happens? We grow. Technology comes in. We go from an agrarian society into an industrial society. Even today, I can sit up and ask each and every one of us, how come we can't open up our own business?
And some that you look at somewhere else might say because blah, blah,
Who
blah.
do they give the
say,
money
yes,
to?
we
Check.
can.
Yeah, go try and get an SBA loan. Okay, that's all I say. Go try to get an SBA loan.
Well, it's difficult.
Okay, hello.
But it can be done.
Okay.
And you have to have all kind of proof and A documents.
But let me but let me tell you
you.
something. There are
But it
more
can be
black-owned businesses in the South than they are here in California.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because when I'm back home, you know, I'm amazed when my cousin said, "Oh yeah, this is
But
owned
then
by a black
again,
person."
you still partially
Boutiques and
segregated.
stuff.
It's still part. You
And
go
ain't
in
nothing
Atlanta,
wrong
you
with
go in Atlanta, Georgia, and you will see the segregation. You not only see, you feel the segregation.
And it's okay.
I don't like it.
It's so all I want to be integrated is to walk into any restaurant that I want to. I don't want you to have to say that I have to sit in a certain place in a public
Well,
place. But as
obviously-
far as education, we educate our kids better.
Yeah.
because we know what they need in the nurturing. And that's what the black colleges was all about.
Right.
That's what the black schools, the community was all about.
I feel that segregation is never going to be the answer because segregation is definitely what keeps us apart and separate.
Why do you
And
want to
we
be
wanna
all hugged up with some white folks?
It's not white folks, it's not Mexicans, it's not Asian, it's not black. I like to be around
And it's okay to be. I
people,
understand what you're
good
saying.
people. It's the Aquarius in me. I'm a humanitarian. I
Okay.
think that's what it is. But I like all people. I just would
I
like
do
to
too.
prefer to be with
But
people
Right.
like-minded.
But I'm seeing
That's all.
where there is a miseducation of our young black
It
people.
is, but why can't we
You know.
still be around other people and educate our black people?
You have to look at school districts now. You have to look. The school district that I work in has very
Can
few
we all
black.
just get along?
No, I'm not saying, but I'm saying, no, but what I'm saying is that, you know, you have to look at, we don't educate our own. We always gonna take an interest in our own more so than others.
Maybe homeschool is the answer.
You know, then you leave out the socialization process
We'll get
of
them
the
involved
child.
in certain things and activities. I mean, there's an answer to this. We can do this and we can do it together or separate, whichever you like. But I think the answer always, of course, is what? Put God in your heart first. Put God in your heart first. And if we keep him in our heart, then that will make everything and everybody always work. We can work this together.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have to close because this we didn't even give my Linda a chance to say too much or Yvonne, but
It's
you know
quite
what?
all right because
You
it's
guys,
very
it's okay?
interesting.
You're all
Right,
right?
right.
Okay, well, we have to
Well, we're
say
gonna get y'all involved in the next
in the
segment.
next one for
Us
sure.
being black as we are, we don't have the problem.
Right.
I don't know why we
Here we go. Here we go.
We're going to talk about that after.
We belong.
Yeah, we the house. We the house.
That's the next
We
show.
the N-word. No.
Yeah.
We're going to be back with another show.
We
Even
stays
more
where we
interesting.
belong.
Yes, so crazy. Thank you so much for watching an episode
the
of
South,
Generation.
and I'm from
We'll see you
Washington.
next time. Bye-bye. You guys.